Now, some NHS workers in Wales have been given advice about how they can access food banks. The email was sent in July by the NWSSP, who provides logistical support for the health service across Wales. The email provided money-saving tips for surviving the summer holidays, as well as information on accessing food banks. Well, one NHS worker has told us she was left feeling sad and incredulous after receiving the email. A below-inflation pay increase for NHS workers in Wales announced last week, those on the lower end of the pay scale receiving an extra £1,400. Well, Hugh McDyer is Head of Health at the union UNISON Cymru Wales. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning.
I mean, we're talking about NHS workers being pointed in the direction of food banks. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, a bit similar to your introduction. It is a sad reflection. The healthcare worker who's raised this is not on her own. Our representatives advise us that healthcare workers approach them practically on a daily basis now, seeking some information, either financial support through Unison's own welfare system. So, unfortunately, I'm really not surprised by this. It does, appear to be bizarre, I guess. The people who know the healthcare workers who live in their street, the porter or the nurse or the cleaner, are those very people who are struggling to make ends meet. So sadly, it is not a surprise to us.
And on a daily basis now, Hugh, you're hearing of people needing help. I mean, you just couldn't forecast that, could you?
No, you couldn't. But I guess this hasn't happened overnight. I mean, what we've seen over years and years of really low pay rises, that's coming home to roost. Our members are simply not earning enough. Now, you add in the pretty horrific situation around the cost of living and some of the bills our members are already facing and are going to be facing through the winter, particularly around energy costs, then nobody should be surprised that our members, healthcare workers, are struggling to pay the bills. It's it's something now that we need to ensure to get properly funded pay rises, so we can actually afford our members the dignity they deserve, having seen the country through a serious pandemic, which we're still in effect dealing with.
Is that going to happen though, Hugh? Can you see a better offer on the table?
Well, unfortunately.
And what happens if there isn't one?
Well, indeed, it's a good question, and the answer to that is, we'll be meeting with our Cymru Wales Unison representatives this week, and we cannot rule out industrial action. In fact, I think industrial action across the UK, and we've already seen a number of reactions from fellow unions on this. We cannot rule out the prospect of industrial action in seeking more pay. I don't see, and our members don't see, and healthcare workers don't see any other way of trying to achieve this now. And as I've said earlier, this hasn't come about overnight. 10, 12 years of austerity, politics of austerity, Westminster driven, that is going to come to a head at some point. And the opportunity was there this year to actually reward our members appropriately, and that opportunity has just not been taken. Sorry, go on.
No, just because we're short for time. Just in terms of this email that has been sent, not meant to cause any offence. I mean, do you think it is offensive to NHS staff to be sent that or sent that advice, or is this just practical given the climate that we're in right now?
I think, some of our members, are going to be, our members come to us and they're not jumping for joy that they have to go to a food bank. So, I think when we see information like this from employers, it is a sign of the times. I think you're right. I think the employer is trying to as best they can, look at options that, real options that will support our members. We can't get away from the fact that almost on a daily basis now, we are having people who we have to help and signpost ourselves, whether it be debt advice or whether it is how to pay the bills, or heat or eat.
Yeah, Hugh,
Simple as that.
Hugh, thank you very much. Well, Emma Shepherd